Facility in Pittsburgh.
This Tuesday morning, we've really seen the wind increase.
But if it's going to feed us temperatures that are going to end up into the 50s, it's hard to complain. We'll have the latest from the Skywatch Weather Center.
Also, the nominees are, we'll show you who got the top Oscar nods and who is making history.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Authorities look for a driver who police say sped through a school bus stop sign while kids were being picked up. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes, the Jasper Police Department is asking for the public's help to find the driver. They say the vehicle is a newer silver or gray 4-door crew cab pickup truck. The license plate starts with 9MAY. Now, according to police, the driver drove by a bus at a high speed of rate this morning and happened on the 300 block of South Main Street. Authorities say the bus had its stop sign out and was picking up children for school. City of Pittsburgh officially announces plans for the new Fedex ground distribution center. Construction is already underway for the 250,000 square foot facility west of Kansas Crossing Casino. It's expected to hire a mix of full-time and part-time employees. City officials say it'll be a big boost to Pittsburgh's economy.
It's a big part of our local economy. We've had a lot of tremendous growth in some of the smaller businesses. We're building houses, trying to get people into Pittsburgh, living in Pittsburgh. So to have an employer come in that's going to employ that many people, those high quality jobs, it's a big piece of the puzzle for us. And quite frankly, it's a piece that we haven't had for a while.
The new facility is expected to open in October. Joplin City Council sees the results of a study comparing employee pay to other paychecks in municipalities in the area. Study compared pay to others, including Carthage, Pittsburgh, and Jasper County, as well as Branson, Springfield, and Bentonville, Arkansas. It found that at the start of the study in March of 2020, Joplin City pay was below others in the area, but got better over time and ended higher than in many cities. Well, from heavy coats to jackets, quite a change from last week. Michael Hayslip joins us with a first look at the forecast.
Tanya, I think by the time we get to the end of the week, we're not going to be talking about coats and jackets. We may be talking about short sleeves. I don't think we'll get quite to shorts range yet, but it certainly is going to be a nice mid-February warm-up. I've become such a creature of habit. It seems like every 5 minutes I want to check this and see if we've got any more grass emerging. Of course, it's a live look outside of 7th and Rangeline. And we have seen a noticeable difference since this morning, since we pushed up above the freezing mark very, very quickly. A little light cloud cover up to the north. Key factor is all for the rest of this week. We're not going to have any raindrops fall out of those clouds, and we're actually going to want some here by the time it's all said and done. How about already 57 in Neodesha and Independence? They're doing something right in Sedan, where it's kicked in at 62 degrees. Cooler as we move off on the eastern portion of southwest Missouri, 46 at Stockton, and let's roll a very comfortable 57 in Miami. And it's thanks in part to the southwest wind. We anticipated this. It was just 5 to 10 miles per hour this morning. Now, as we see the blue color contour begin to pick up, an idea that we're going to roll about 10 to 15 miles per hour, but that's sustained winds. So we'll gust anywhere from about 20 to 25. But how about this? Work our way up into the high 50s later on today, even warmer than what we encountered yesterday, at least at Joplin Regional Airport. We saw a smattering of 60s. I think we'll see some more widespread 60-degree temperatures, especially down to the south. Like I said, the wind's going to stick around until we get to tonight, but waking up tomorrow morning, very, very comfortable. Do want to point out that overnight, we're going to fall back down to about the freezing mark there for the next 2 days. But look at that, Wednesday's setting up to be great as well. Thursday, somewhat seasonable, a little bit cooler, down to 48. But Tanya, I had a feeling we'd have some short sleeve shirt weather, 62 by the time we get to Friday.
Ooh, heating up just
weekend.
All right, thanks, Michael. The Power of the Dog leads this year's Academy Award nominations with 12, followed by the sci-fi epic Dune, which received 10 nominations. Danya Bacchus breaks it down for us from Los Angeles.
The Power of the Dog made a powerful impact on Academy members. The Netflix Western leads the pack with 12 nominations, including Best Picture, Best Director, and 4 acting nods, including Best Actor for Benedict Cumberbatch. He will go up against 2-time winner Denzel Washington for The Tragedy of Macbeth and Will Smith in King Richard. Javier Bardem from Being the Ricardos and Andrew Garfield from Tick, Tick, Boom round out the category. As one of the producers of King Richard, Smith is also up for a Best Picture nomination. The other films in the category, Belfast, Coda, Don't Look Up, Drive My Car, Dune, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, and West Side Story. The Power of the Dog's Jane Campion becomes the first woman to be nominated twice for Best Director. She lost in 1994 to Steven Spielberg for Schindler's List. He's also nominated again, this time for West Side Story.
Mommy.
Among the surprises, Kristen Stewart nabbed a Best Actress nomination for her role as Princess Diana in Spencer, beating out House of Gucci's Lady Gaga. Stewart will face Jessica Chastain for The Eyes of Tammy Faye, Olivia Colman for The Lost Daughter, Penelope Cruz in Parallel Mothers, and Nicole Kidman for her role as Lucille Ball in Being the Ricardos. And Beyoncé picks up her first Oscar nomination for her original song Be Alive from King Richard. Danya Backus, CBS News, Hollywood.
Beyonce has some tough competition. Among those nominated in the same category are Lin-Manuel Miranda for a song from Encanto and Billie Eilish for No Time to Die from the latest James Bond film. The 94th Academy Awards will be held on March 27th. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at noon, Team USA snags its first ever medal in cross-country skiing at the Winter Olympics. And later, we're making famous hotel chocolate chip cookies. Cross-country skiing has never been in Team USA's Olympic wheelhouse, but we do have a Nordic superstar. 30-year-old Jessie Diggins won bronze in the women's individual freestyle sprint this morning. Jamie Yuka shows us how she overcame personal challenges to climb to the top of her sport.
If they gave out gold medals for unbridled enthusiasm, Jessie Diggins would have a boatload. Whether hiking or biking, in the kitchen or in the gym, she's a social media celebrity.
Surprise!
But that's what happens when you deliver one of the signature moments of the 2018 Winter Games.
Here comes Diggins! Here comes Diggins!
By the length of her ski tip, Diggins and partner Keegan Randall claimed the first ever American gold medal in cross-country skiing, male or female.
What does click in your head for you to be able to just push at the very last second?
I don't like having regrets. I hate the what if game. And so when I cross that finish line, and usually I'm laying in the snow, like half conscious, trying to breathe, but that's when I take a second to look back on the race. And there's always things for every race that you can improve. But for me, I like crossing that finish line knowing that there was not one drop of energy that I held back.
After that stirring win, her teammates picked her as a flag bearer for the closing ceremonies. A star was born. It was a storybook start. Before she could walk, her parents toted her across the Minnesota landscape. Diggins dominated Minnesota's high school ski clubs, a multi-state champion with a relentless drive for perfection. But in her senior year, the drive became all-consuming. Diggins found herself in what she called a slow spiral.
I think I felt a lot of shame and guilt and denial about the eating disorder that I had.
I find it so interesting because I think there is this idea out there that athletes are immune to eating disorders because you need to fuel your body in order to perform. Mm-hmm. That's not true.
No, no one's immune to them. And it's something that I think we all struggle with.
Her family was there for her, and Mom Deb heard about the Emily program, where she received intensive therapy and treatment.
I needed to learn how to love myself again.
And she's become a dedicated ambassador for the program.
I think when I was younger, I would maybe listen to my body and then choose to ignore it. And now that I'm getting a little older and maybe a little wiser, I try to listen to my body and then act on what it's telling me and have the guts to do less. It was a long, painful process, but I think I'm getting there.
Now she has a bronze and a gold. Still to come on the KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
Nothing says welcome home like freshly baked chocolate chip cookies. So grab a glass of milk and get ready for some Dunkin'.
But first, Michael Hayslip returns with your complete forecast.
Hard to believe you go back 1 week. It was 1 week ago today that we were sitting around waiting for the snow to start. Of course, it would start in earnest on Wednesday. And yeah, it's been a while since it even concluded, but I want to point out the snow depth and still what remains on the ground because it's playing such a large role in our temperatures. Now we're having a nice little warm up here, but if you go along that dividing line right here, look what we're seeing: high 50s, low 60s out on the western part of southeast Kansas, able to run the 57s from Yates Center through Independence and Neodesha, already 62 right there in Sedan. And if we revert back to that map, you'll notice out throughout southwest Missouri right there, where we've still got a fair amount on the ground. Of course, that's not only that had the most accumulation, but also where we saw it end at the latest. We're looking at 46 in Stockton, 49 in both Nevada and in Fort Scott. And so that's why when we talk about that snowpack, it really does play a difference as far as not only the temperature, but what it feels like as well, as we've got a good 12-degree difference from our west to our east. That being said, plenty of sunshine, gorgeous look over 7th and Rangeline where we sit at a very comfortable 55 degrees. Look at that humidity plummeting down to 38%. So we combine the very low humidity with the high winds. Any of those branches of brush that you had fall off during the snow event, the best thing to do is to hold on to them because we are abnormally dry right now. We talk about our monthly precipitation. We're, say, about 3/4 of an inch off that, but I really want to go back to December the 1st because that's when meteorological winter began. We're 2.5 inches down at Joplin Regional Airport, 2.5 inches off our historic norms. Now, yeah, the snow melting is going to help somewhat, but when we talk about the old drought monitor that we've got to put into effect, we're starting to see the severe drought creep from northeast Oklahoma into southwest Missouri right there. I'd say the majority of the 4 states is considered in that moderate area, and then tapering off a little bit as you get up to the north. Of course, the drought monitor updated by our friends at NOAA every Thursday, so it'll be interesting to update it here in about 48 hours and see if the snow does have any impact on it. Certainly, we're nothing like what is out to the west, and the high pressure that's hanging over west of the Rockies, presenting them with even more troubles because they're not going to get any drops of rain here throughout the course of the week. And look at this, we find ourselves kind of on that eastern edge. You push off through the Ohio River Valley and they don't even show up in a drought category. Sunshine not only for today, but we'll be able to ride this the rest of the week. Watch out, that southwest wind still going to gust 25 to 30 miles per hour. And because of our lack of cloud cover, remember what that does for us overnight. We're going to sink down probably just around the freezing mark, a little bit warmer to the west and to the south. I think we'll be able to stay in about the mid-30s right there, but push off to the north and to the east, probably dropping down into the high 20s, if you will. As far as our wind tracker goes, just wait till sunset and then we'll die down. But you notice a shift too. So that's going to present us with some cooler temperatures, but then right back at it from the west tomorrow. Going to be another blustery one. And look along I-44, curious enough as that is, that big dramatic shift means temperatures are going to be in the low 60s down to the south. It's funny, Wednesday is going to be very reminiscent of today, almost a carbon copy, if you will. We're going to go back to seasonable temperatures for Thursday. So you'll notice a drop out there. But Tanya, we've got a big warm chimney that's going to come up from the Gulf Coast on Friday, feed us temperatures into the 60s before that wind, 180s on us, drops us down Friday night, highs only in the 30s during Saturday.
It amazes me we can have such a warm up and then get so cold so quickly.
But look how short-lived it is too, though. Mm-hmm. By the time we get to Sunday, back to 45, and then Valentine's Day, we're going to be pressing up to 60.
Well, you got to heat it up for Valentine's Day.
Hey now.
All right, thanks, Michael. We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Specialist Donald Bush in the U.S. Army. The soldier from New Albany, Kansas, joined the A Battery, 2nd Battalion, 39th Field Artillery, 3rd Infantry Division in 1963. He earned both the Good Conduct Medal and the Rifleman's Badge while stationed in Germany. To Specialist Donald Bush, we thank you, our four-state hero. Need a way to feel like you're at home no matter where you are? Today, Howard shows us how to make his famous hotel chocolate chip cookies in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Many of you know I travel a fair amount for work. So when I find something at a hotel that makes me feel at home, you can only imagine how happy it makes me. One chain that I think does a great job with this offers guests freshly baked cookies when they check in. If that doesn't say, welcome home, what does? Today, we're sharing our version of these welcoming cookies with you. We start by combining our dry ingredients. It's simply some flour, rolled oats that we processed, baking soda, a bit of salt, and a little ground cinnamon. Now, we set that aside while we beat together some butter, white and brown sugar, and a splash of vanilla. Once it's light and airy, we beat in a couple of eggs and our dry ingredients. The only thing left to do now is slowly stir in our walnuts and chocolate chips and spoon this onto a couple of baking sheets. Now you can bake them right away, or you can freeze them and bake them right before you want something sweet hot out of the oven. Either way, whenever you do bake them, you can bet your whole house will be smelling like the irresistible combination of cinnamon and chocolate. To get the recipe for our famous hotel chocolate chip cookies, make sure you check out our website because these are outstanding. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a welcome home way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
That has me in the mood to bake cookies this afternoon. You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our 4-state market prices.
Great looking Tuesday afternoon. If we're going to be a little rain starved, why don't we sit back and enjoy the sunshine? Remember that those temps we throw up there, that's merely kind of a 4-state average, because I know we're already seeing 60s on the west side of southeast Kansas. 7-day forecast, repeat performance for Wednesday, seasonable temperatures on Thursday, and then lock in for some 60s by the time we get to Friday.
Yeah, that sounded bad.
Yeah, for sure. What do we have coming up tonight at 5?
Well, a record 31.5 million Americans plan to bet on this year's Super Bowl. We're going to look at the growth of legal betting options across the country and the amount of money dropped on the big game. Plus, a local Freeman patient discusses a life-changing procedure to replace the aortic valve, and details on a new COVID testing site opening in Cherokee County, Kansas. So join us for those stories. A lot more, of course. It's all coming up on KOAM News at 5.
All right. Thank you, Dow. Thanks for joining us for KOAM News at Noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.